We created a system that we are looking at reducing the biggest cost driver, and that's the medical side of it, not what we call the cash or indemnity side of it, and reducing the exposure and able to close out claims after a 15-year period. That's where you were losing, businesses were losing, and premiums were being increased, was because 2/3 of your workers' comp dollars spent was based on medicals and reserves. So we've changed that, but still the person who gets hurt and they're going to truly need to have medical benefits will still be able to obtain them, and they will still get the same type of indemnity or cash payment. But after a 15-year period, then, and they haven't treated, then they can close out the case and move forward, because if somebody is not treated within 15 years, then it's not really likely a workplace or work-related injury.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about some things that didn't get done this session, some things that were left on the table. One of those is net metering, dealing with solar energy and how consumers are treated with that. So what comes next for that issue?
Well, I don't think a lot of people understand the issue of net metering. And to me, if we don't do net metering, the people we are going to hurt the most are going to be the individuals who can't afford to use solar panels on their house. Because what you're doing, you're subsidizing individuals who can afford solar panels and then putting their energy back on a grid that they're not paying for. The grid is that mechanism of delivering energy. And so the cost of delivery are going to continue to increase for those people who are receiving it. And it's a very small base at this point in time. And the individuals who can afford to do the panels will continue to do them. And those costs are going to be passed on to the people who really can't, that can't afford that. And it's going to hurt the poor and indigent worse than anybody else if we don't change it. And it's just going to drive costs of energy produced by the manufacturers and the energy companies up, and can continue to go up, because you're going to have a smaller base paying for the infrastructure that's in place.
And another issue is medical liability reform. A couple things did get done, but things like a constitutional amendment to put caps on damages, things like that, are still left on the table. So, and obviously we can't do that within the next couple of years because it would have to be on the ballot.
Right.
So what will come next? Is there anything in the next couple of years that you guys could pass that would help with tort reform and help out the medical community?
Just as we've done peer review, some of the medical necessity letters, the review panels, those are the things we can do right now. And I think some of them will be challenged in court, and they're already being challenged in court, but I think we're well within the confines of our Constitution to do that. Legislature is able to set all types of rules for the court systems. We do it truth in sentencing, rape shield laws, evidentiary issues about various things, how they get introduced into the system. So I think we can also, jurisdictional amounts, what values go into district court, what values go into circuit courts. So that's our prerogative, and I believe we are well within our constitutional framework to set up things like we've done with peer review and medical review panels.